Seems crazy, doesn't it? A festival where ancient Egyptians got drunk on purpose. This wasn't just a random party, it had deep spiritual significance, mysterious origins, and surprising rituals. The Festival of Drunkenness was held thousands of years ago, and it continues to fascinate historians to this day. Why would a sophisticated civilization host a festival centered around chaos and intoxication? Today, we'll deep dive into one of the most unique religious celebrations in ancient history. We will explore the events of the Festival of Drunkenness, what people did, what they believed, and why it was such an important event. We'll also discuss the strange myths surrounding it, including the one in which a goddess almost destroyed all mankind. Before we start, keep in mind that this is not just a story about drinking, it's a story of fear, power, gods, and the way the ancient Egyptians understood life and death. The origins and myth behind the festival. To understand the Festival of Drunkenness, we must first go back to ancient Egyptian mythology. The tale starts with the mighty sun god Ra. In the myth, Ra was a ruler of both gods and humanity. However, one day, he became angry with mankind. People didn't respect him anymore. They had abandoned the gods and were causing chaos on Earth, so Ra decided to punish them. He sent his daughter, the goddess Sekhmet, to take revenge. Sekhmet was a goddess with the head of a lion, recognized for her fierce temper and devastating power. She started killing people ruthlessly. Village after village, she eliminated anyone in her way. However, Ra quickly understood that the situation had escalated excessively. Sekhmet refused to stop. She was in a frenzied fury and could destroy all of humanity. Now, Ra needed a plan to stop her before it was too late. That's where the smart trick comes in. Ra called upon his messengers and instructed them to bring a large quantity of hematite from Elephantine. He then ordered to crush the hematite. In the meantime, barley was also being ground to make beer. Once the two substances were prepared, Ra added the hematite to the beer, making it look like human blood. It's stated that 7,000 jars of this beer were produced. Ra then poured large quantities of beer one night. Upon seeing it, Sekhmet believed it to be a pool of blood left by her victims. She drank it greedily. Rather than blood, it was beer, and she became intoxicated. Her anger faded. She lost consciousness and ultimately returned to her serene state of Hathor, the god of love and happiness. This myth served as the basis for the Festival of Drunkenness. Each year, Egyptians repeated this event to pay tribute to the gods and to celebrate the time when humanity was saved. Drinking was more than just enjoyment. It was a way to connect with the divine and relive a timeless miracle. Although it may seem like a wild celebration now, it originally began as a significant religious ceremony linked to fear, destruction, and redemption. What actually happened during the festival? The Festival of Drunkenness wasn't just a gathering of a few people to drink alcohol. It was a large, well-organized occasion. The event was celebrated on the 20th day of Thoth, the first month of the ancient Egyptian calendar. The Festival of Drunkenness was a communal event, and at one level, the festivities took place in temples. On a different level, the celebration took place in people's homes and shrines. Some suggested that the event used to take place at the Temple of Mut in Thebes. Hundreds or even thousands of individuals would gather at the temple. Men and women participated. Priests, priestesses, and ordinary people all joined together. The festival often started at night. People would drink beer and wine, recite prayers, and sing holy songs. The aim was to achieve a different state of mind. The goal was to become so intoxicated and overjoyed that they could connect with the gods more easily. Music had a significant impact. Sistra, musical rattles, were continuously rattled. Drums, harps, and flutes contributed to the noise. Dancers would twirl and rotate in the temple courtyards. It was noisy, cheerful, and chaotic. The drinking was intense. People just didn't take sips, they drank until they were out of control, much like Sekhmet did in the myth. Certain records indicate that the aim was to drink until oblivion so people could reach a sacred and altered state of consciousness. But this event wasn't just about drinking. There were other things too. Following the night of chaos and festivities, people would frequently engage in peaceful ceremonies at dawn, like prayers, offerings, and dream sessions. Egyptians thought that during their intoxicated sleep, they could receive divine dreams like visions, warnings, or gifts. Although the festival was full of music, dancing, and drinking, it also had a spiritual significance. People gathered not only to celebrate, but to connect more closely with the divine. The Festival of Drunkenness offered common people a chance to experience the sacred through chaos, joy, and surrender. The deeper meaning. At first glance, the Festival of Drunkenness may appear to be just a reason to drink and enjoy, but in ancient Egypt, everything held significance. Each celebration held deep meaning, and this one was no different. The festival carried significant spiritual and social value. Initially, it reminded people of the balance between mercy and destruction. Sekhmet, being the goddess of war, brought chaos and death. Once she was calm with beer, she reemerged as Hathor, the goddess of love, music, and motherhood. This demonstrated that even the most dangerous energy could be converted into something special. The Egyptians thought it was essential to respect both aspects of this energy. Moreover, the festival focused on transformation. Participants drank beer until they lost their sense of control. They danced, they sang, and they experienced transformed states. It wasn't just for a sense of pleasure, it was a type of rebirth. People thought by losing themselves for a single night they could wake up rejuvenated, spiritually purified, and emotionally unburdened. This festival was also strongly connected to fertility and the life-sustaining power of the Nile. The celebration occurred during the annual flooding of the river, which brought water and fertile soil to the area. Egypt couldn't survive without this flood. Thus, the festive drinking was a way to give tribute to nature, fertility, and the rhythms of life. It was thought that the gods would also join the festival. Throughout the celebration, idols of the goddess Hathor and Sekhmet were brought out of the temple and paraded among the crowd. This was called the emergence of the goddess. It was a unique and holy occasion and an opportunity for the people to connect directly with divine energy. The role of women. Women played a crucial role in the Festival of Drunkenness. In contrast to numerous other religious occasions in ancient times, this festival embraced both men and women. Women shared a unique bond with it. This is because the primary goddesses, Sekhmet and Hathor, represented female strength in different ways. Sekhmet represented fury and devastation. Hathor represented happiness, beauty, and affection. The myth showed how one could turn into the other. This change reflected the intricacies of femininity, power, emotion, and restoration. Throughout the festival, priestesses frequently led songs, dances, and ceremonies. Certain women were referred to as Hathor's chantresses. These women received training in music and sacred songs, and their role was highly respected. The festival was also associated with fertility and motherhood. Hathor was the goddess of childbirth and family. That's why women prayed to her for protection, healthy children, and a happy home. In a society where women often lacked public authority, the Festival of Drunkenness provided them with a sacred opportunity to lead and express themselves. Why Egyptians embraced drunkenness in religion. In most cultures, religion is quiet and serious. For the ancient Egyptians, intoxication served a spiritual purpose. They thought that drinking might help them feel more connected to the divine. It's more than just enjoyment, it was an integral part of a spiritual journey. By drinking large quantities of beer, people could escape their daily thoughts. They reached a new state of consciousness, one that felt open to divine energy. The concept was to replicate the moment in the story when Sekhmet lost control and transformed into Hathor. Individuals thought that by performing it, they could participate in that transformation. The festival also represented the Egyptian concept of balance, known as Mat. Life included both order and disorder. Drunkenness symbolized disorder, but in a regulated and significant manner. It enabled individuals to let go of fear, stress, and sadness once a year. Some actually thought they could be filled with the essence of Hathor while dancing and drinking. This made the experience profoundly emotional and very real. Although it may seem odd now, drunkenness served as a way to recovery, happiness, and bonding. In the chaos of the celebration, the Egyptians discovered something divine. What archaeology and text reveals. A significant portion of our knowledge regarding the Festival of Drunkenness is derived from ancient temples, artifacts, and inscriptions. Throughout the years, archaeologists have revealed astonishing information hidden in stone structures, manuscripts, and statues that help us in understanding the true nature of this wild and sacred festival. A significant discovery was made in the Temple of Mut, located in Karnak, Thebes. During the 1990s, archaeologists found a set of ritual chambers hidden below the temple. These spaces were filled with drinking cups, containers, musical tools, and even beds. Yes, real beds which were used for dream sessions during or after the festival. The writings on the walls describe various aspects of the celebration. They mention awakening the goddess, drinking to forget, and entering sacred sleep to receive visions. People thought that drinking and sleeping inside the temple could deliver divine messages. Documents known as festival calendars, particularly from the New Kingdom era, also reference festivities celebrated in tribute to Hathor and Sekhmet. These writings provided dates for temple ceremonies and frequently described the Festival of Drunkenness in detail. Numerous statues of Sekhmet have been discovered, particularly in the temple complexes constructed by Pharaoh Amenhotep III. Certain specialists think he constructed numerous states of Sekhmet to protect himself from sickness. Some believe they were linked to extensive festival celebrations where the goddess was honored through ritual drinking. These discoveries reveal something significant. The Festival of Drunkenness was not just a story or a myth, it was real. It was performed with attention and dedication. Through archaeology, we've revealed not only the facts, but the emotions, the happiness, fear, hope, and belief that Egyptians invested in this ancient ceremony, and it still echoes through the temples. The Festival of Drunkenness took place millennia ago, but it continues to fascinate people. Why? Because it's different from other typical religious festivals. It's a mixture of happiness, chaos, and profound spirituality. The story of Sekhmet transforming into Hathor reflects a timeless concept: the power of emotions, destruction, and restoration. It serves as a reminder that peace can be found even in anger and disorder. The Egyptians embraced these intense emotions and they celebrated them through sacred ceremonies. The festival also demonstrates how ancient civilizations engaged with the divine. They didn't just remain silent in temples, they danced, sipped, and sang, and in all that, they discovered something significant. This is why the Festival of Drunkenness still fascinates us. It wasn't just about beer, it was about healing, transformation, and an approach to the divine through joy, noise, and madness. The Festival of Drunkenness shows how the ancient Egyptians discovered the divine in pleasure, disorder, and transformation. If you enjoyed this journey into their world, don't forget to like, share, and subscribe. And do share your thoughts on what ancient ritual we should explore next.